Lisa, can you unmute your microphone?
Sure. I wasn't starting yet, but I can start. Are we ready to start? Okay. So welcome everyone to our third session of the Luce Southeast Asia in Transition webinar series. And this fall 2022, we're doing a series of conversations on discussing development in different contexts from different perspectives, particularly trying to take into account local voices and the more than human world. And these sessions are sponsored by the Luce Foundation, to which we give our thanks. And they are under the cooperation of University of Hawaii and Michigan State University and Chiang Mai University. And for those of you who are just joining us, we're very excited about our third panel, which is about rivers and dams, aquatic waterscapes, and local perspectives on different human attempts to harness and control these waterways and the good and the bad that comes from that. And each of our panelists, if you haven't been to one of our sessions before, each panelist will take 5 minutes to share about their perspectives and their work, wherever they are in the region here in Southeast Asia. And then we have a series of preset questions that I, as your moderator today, will be circulating around between the different panelists. And then for the last 30 minutes, we'd like to take your questions from the audience. So we encourage you to type them either in the Q&A box or in the chat box, and we'll return to those later. So with us today, we have Dr. Ming Lee, who is a research fellow at the East-West Center. We also have Akarat Sukapon, who is a PhD candidate in the Department of Geography at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We also have Dr. Kangxi Nam from Con Th University in the Vietnam Delta, and he is the head of the Environmental Sciences Department at the College of Environment and Natural Resources. And we also have with me here in my office, we have Harisham Abdullah and Laila Abdullah, who are an Iban couple who are tourist guides with a campsite at the Temburong River in the Ulu Temburong National Park here in Brunei Darussalam. So without further ado, we will start by having Dr. Nam present a little more about his work for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and circle around. So Dr. Nam, thank you so much for joining us. And
yeah, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Yeah. Can you hear me well? Yeah, okay, so my name is Nam, and just call me Nam, it's easy, yeah. And now I'm working for the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and I'm growing in the Mekong Delta. It's a downstream of the Mekong River, and I grew up in here, so I understand about the effect of the upstream dam and its activity to the Mekong Delta as well. So I be here just to share our thinking about the river and the dam upstream and how it's affected the Mekong Delta. So in my thinking, there are many activities can be affected to the downstream like in the Mekong River. Everything in the downstream will be go down in the upstream. So when you're thinking about the dam, the sediment, activity, agriculture, industrial, everything will go down. So this is the first thinking about the effect from the downstream. Not, but from the downstream, they don't think and they don't care much more about the Mekong downstream area like the Delta. The second thing that I would like to share, this is the we don't think about the upstream activity, but we think the institute development activity inside the Delta also affected to the environment quality. So from now, the Mekong Delta is very high intensive agriculture activity and aquaculture as well. So it also affects to the water and environment as well. So we don't Don't talk about just from the downstream, but also in-situ development. This is second point that I thinking about. And the last one that I would like to talk about is the climate trend. From now, we affected by climate change more and more clearly. So we have the problem with the low water from the downstream, the upstream to the downstream. And we also affected by the sunlight intrusion and unpredictable climate. So in the Mekong Delta, we have the dry season and rainy season or wet season very clearly. But nowadays, it's unpredictable. Yeah, it's easy to affect to the farmer. So it's difficult for them to maintain their agriculture or aquaculture activities as normal. So this something that I would like to share, and I hope that we can have a very good discussion. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. That is all of my introduction and thinking about. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Nam. Lots of things to think about. I'm looking forward to hearing you talk more about the effects of the agriculture downstream as well as upstream later.
Yes,
so we're going to turn now to Mr. Hadi, and we're going to be talking about rivers here in Borneo instead. So Hadi and Laila, please feel free to speak. We'll be talking about Iban people and rivers here in Borneo and Brunei. So go ahead, Hadi.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Hadisham bin Abdullah as a Iban tribe. So I want to share that it's a good topic today is about the river. So as a river is very important for the tribe people, especially Iban and other tribe who live in this island of Borneo. So I'm still remember when I'm young, actually, I was born in the jungle and grow in jungle and everything in the jungle. Yeah. So I'm also studying the jungle. So that river is very important source for the tribe people. Of course, compare some other river, I went travel to some other places and this island of Borneo, Sabah, Sarawak in Brunei. But some other places in Sarawak, yeah, that's a good. It's bad thing now is because of more logging is some of the river become more pollution. Yeah, so affected into the people who live on downstream as well. But that is, and also some overdevelopment, yeah, in other places. But in Brunei, actually, now where we live in Tumburong, where it's very close to National Park. In our campsite there, is the river still very fresh and clean, no pollution because there's no logging in Brunei, it's not developed in Brunei, so still very, very, I can say it's totally is safe and clean river. Yeah, so according to our tribe, so because the river is one of the highway in olden days, yeah. That's why if you look into the tribe people, Iban mostly live on the riverside, and most of this the longhouse they build further upstream. So they use the river for the source for them for the daily activities, yeah. And also they use the river to travel upstream and downstream. Yeah, so now the Iban people is changing the way of their life, yeah, because of the modernization, yeah. So from the live from upstream, they move to downstream now, yeah. So in Brunei, actually, there's no other tribe living further upriver now. Mostly people move downstream, yeah. And they have to follow with the now situation because most of their children now is can go for study. So this is make the changings the way of the life of the Iban people now. Yeah, so there's no longer this Iban people staying further upriver. Yeah, so of course that's the good thing in Brunei, because the government will protects, yeah, to preserve. This is the best place, the national park in Brunei is compared some other places in this island of Borneo. So this is the main attraction as well for Brunei, and also there's a benefit for the local people as well. Yeah, for I think in future, if they want to build some more development, I think they have to be a study, yeah, to find some other people or more expertise about in how to protect the environment. Otherwise, to overdevelop can be so well, and they can be make this disaster into the area, yeah, and also affected into the local people. That's my opinion, yeah. So at the moment, everything is fine, yeah. So they have to be careful of this thing. So that's the good thing at the moment is the benefits, and also on the tourism, and also to the benefit the local people. Yeah. So that's, I think I can say about the river is very interesting for us. Yeah. Without the river, the tribe people is very hard for everything. Yeah. So I think that's I can say for every one of you about the river in Brunei, and thank you for sharing it for my what they call my sharing, yeah, my topic today, yeah.
Thank you, Hadi. And later, when we're doing questions around the room, Lila has agreed to talk about crocodiles and Iban culture a little bit later. All right, thank you very much, Hadi and Lila. And next we'll be going to Dr. Ming Lee Yang. Take it away, Ming Lee.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, I'm Ming Lee. I'm a research fellow at the East West Center, and I study transboundary water governance in the Mekong River Basin. So in my research, I've looked at, different discourses and narratives around hydropower development from perspective of civil society, and how they've tried to create a campaign against hydropower development along the river because of its potentially very negative transboundary impacts to fisheries and livelihoods across the river basin. I've also studied community-based natural resource management along the Thai-Lao border, where I was very interested in finding out how people on both sides of the riverbank have been, managing the river from both sides, and also very interested in finding out more about how environmental conservation movements have come about in those areas in response to large-scale development projects that have threatened very important ecosystems that they want to protect. So I'm really interested in, what makes a community want to protect the river, and what makes them and then what are the enabling factors that enable them to set up these sort of sustainable measures to conserve the river at the community level. More recently, I've been looking at public participation and decision-making around the Mekong River. So I'm really interested in the governance arrangements around that. How do people get to make their inputs into hydropower dams that are being developed on the mainstream of the river? So to do that, I looked at the institutional arrangements surrounding the consultation procedures that were put in place. I also looked into why some of the local communities and civil society thought that this process was a rubber stamp. So much of my research has taken place in Thailand and Cambodia. So in Thailand, I worked in northern Thailand and also in Nong Khai in Isan. And in Cambodia, I've worked in Stung Treng province, which is close to the Cambodia-Lao border. And I've also worked in the Tonle Sap Lake, mostly around Siem Reap province. So I'm really excited to be here and to talk more about some of these issues and transboundary water governance issues that are facing the Mekong River today. And looking forward to share more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ming Lee. We're looking forward to hearing more about your different field sites and local participation. Really interesting work. And Ekrat, please tell us more about your research and work.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Lisa, and everyone who's had a hand in putting this panel together. I have to quickly just apologize. I've been battling this cough and congestion for the last couple of days, so if I need to pause, I'll take some time to do that. But yeah, so I'm currently a PhD candidate, so I'll be talking mostly about some of my kind of dissertation kind of field work, but I have to admit that my interest in hydropower dam development in Southeast Asia is began fairly recently. So as a Lao American, I've always been interested in ethnicity and the Lao diaspora, particularly in the U.S. But my first kind of real introduction to hydropower dam development in the region came in 2017 through a collaborative project called Tracking Change, which is led by the University of Alberta, with the aim of strengthening the voices of subsistence farmers and Indigenous peoples in the governance of freshwater ecosystems in the Mackenzie River Basin in Canada, but also the lower Amazon and the lower Mekong River basins. So at one of these global meetings that was held at Ubon Ratchathani province in northeastern Thailand, I was really struck by how ethnic Lao people described and understood the impacts of the Pak Mun Dam there and changes to the Moon River kind of in their own words, right? And this kind of led me to think about the local scales of impact and how these might differ across national borders, because I was still kind of interested in ethnic Lao people, and also kind of interested in the power relations produced and reproduced from the configurations of multiple intersecting and shifting marginal subjectivities. So thinking about ethnicity and gender and class and age, intersections of those. And so in thinking about difference as it relates to hydropower dam development impacts, so yes, it's absolutely important to understand the social and environmental impacts at looking at the local, national, and regional scales. But I think it's also important to consider the socio-environmental kind of bounded spatialities that are meaningful to people, right? And informed by connections and flows within and across state borders. So, I think this helps us to, or provides a kind of a decolonized lens through which to examine hydropower dam impacts and responses, but also seeks and makes visible kind of gendered differences over time and across space as well. So my research is essentially then kind of recasting certain areas of northeastern Thailand, southern Laos, and northeastern Cambodia as kind of an ethno-ecological landscape, right, through which to kind of examine some of these differences, and using a feminist political ecology approach to begin to think about what differences might be unveiled when we center marginal voices and identify the complexities of shifting and situated power and power relations in the planning, construction, and operation of dams. And so I have 4 sites that I'm looking at. So we have the Pak Mun Dam in northeastern Thailand, which was completed in 1994, so it's close to 30 years of full operation. The Sapien Satam Noi Dam and the Don Sahong Dam in southern Laos, and the Lower Se San Tu Dam in northeastern Cambodia. So hopefully I'll be able to touch on a few of these over throughout the course of our time here. Thanks. I'll turn it back over to you, Lisa.
All right, thank you, Abe. All right, thank you, all of you. Lots of themes already. I think rivers make such complex sites to think about development because, as Dr. Nam said, they flow and things flow downstream, including impacts. And of course, in the Delta, you're at the bottom. But at the same time, all of you are talking about how these rivers, they flow by local communities and local riverine habitats who all have their own relationship with the river and what happens. So it's a flowing, moving thing affecting many places along the way. So for the questions that we're going to circulate, one thing in an earlier discussion all of the panelists had with me is they noted that there's a real importance in thinking about multiple scales when we think about impact and activity when it regards water resources and development on the rivers. So I wanted to ask if you would be willing to take turns talking about, from your perspective, why does having this multi-scalar focus, why is this a productive and needed thing, you think, in your particular work and research? Would anyone like to speak first on that? I'm tempted to go to you, Ming Lee, because I know this is a framework that you use. Are you willing to take first answer?
Sure, I can do that. So I think as a geographer, we always think about things in terms of scale. And I think the most fundamental thing that geographers note about scale, and when I say scale, usually we think about, the scale of the local, the national, the regional, or the international. I think to most people, we take these scales for granted. We think of them as kind of pre-existing categories, but as a geographer, we really want to concentrate on how these scales are actually socially constructed and how these different scales are also linked through power relations. So I think this is most obvious when we think about, the formation of nation states in Southeast Asia. Like these were relatively recent formations. So the nation state as a scale didn't always exist in Southeast Asia. If we think about the region of the Mekong as well, with the greater Mekong subregion, this was also created in the 1990s to facilitate economic cooperation and integration across the Mekong region. And attached to these scalar constructions are also relations of power. So usually the priorities of these so-called higher levels, such as the regional or the national, are then prioritized over the scale of the local. So for example, I think this is most clearly seen when we have these sort of large-scale development projects that are led by the state and private investors that don't always benefit local communities living along the river. So I think a multi-scalar perspective is very helpful to analyze, the causes and impacts of environmental and livelihood problems in the Mekong as well. So for example, if you're thinking about what problems local communities are facing along the Mekong River, at the localized level, they might be facing issues such as illegal fishing. When we think about the governance or weak governance of natural resources, this also takes place at multiple scales. So you might have weak governance from the level of the village all the way up to the national government as well. And then kind of zooming out from that local level, you might find a lot of different causes of environmental degradation along the river as well. So for example, there might be urban development happening nearby, or sand mining as well happening in the Mekong River that also undermine the integrity of the river and its ecosystems. And I think with hydropower development, the concerns then shift to that transboundary level of concern, because when you build a dam upstream, it's going to have impacts further downstream. And in the case of the Mekong River, that is especially concerning because there are 60 million people in the lower Mekong Basin who depend on the river for their livelihoods. So even if a dam is built, hundreds of kilometers upstream, it's going to affect people all around the river basin. And I think from a transboundary governance perspective, I enjoy using a multi-scalar lens because I like understanding how different stakeholders at different levels relate to each other. It's not necessarily pitting them against each other, but I like working through that complexity of, what are the areas that they cooperate in, what are the areas they are in tension with each other about, what are the sort of power dynamics between these different stakeholders and where they come from, and how all of these relations then influence the ways in which hydropower development is contested in the Mekong River Basin. So I'll leave it here for now. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Ming Lee. That's fascinating. Who else would like to speak on this?
May I start? Okay, yeah, I think all of you will agree that multi-scale is very important for governance of water, especially in the long river. And I just want to talk about the story in the Mekong Delta. A long time ago, every year we have the flooding in like flood. Yeah, it's just like a level up. It's slightly increase day by day, and it brings a lot of things to the local people. So I think a long time ago, the local people, they wish the water level increase slightly and bring them a lot of things like fish, snail, sediment, and they will have a very good fertilizer, the natural fertilizer from the sediment after the flooding season. Yeah, but nowadays we cannot find many fishermen. They expected like go fishing during the flood season anymore. So they try to do other things rather than just living in their local location to fish the fish or catch aquatic animal in there. So this is the story in the Mekong Delta. More and more people, they moving to the city to find their job, or they try to build a dye to do the intensive agriculture, such as like 3 crop or more per year. This is the story in the Mekong Delta. So we're thinking about the past and now and currently. So what is effect to the local people life? So when we think about the hydropower dam, so is it good or not? I think most of you can say it's good, but good for who? Yeah. And how it affect to the downstream people, for the local people. So I think when you build a dam like this, you just think about the more and more people. So nowadays we think more about the integrated water governance. So we need to think more and more the stakeholder. We can get more stakeholder. That means we have the more idea, and we can find the better solution for our management. So this is my opinion for about this. And how can I say? Vietnamese government, we just take care for the Vietnamese people. It's true and it's right. But we think more about the regional approach. Doesn't mean we think about the transboundary approach. If we manage the water in the downstream, what happened in the downstream and in the upstream? What will happen? Yeah. So this is the. I think now we need to have the like transboundary governance water, also integrated governance water, and we try to get more and more local voice from the people who living around the river and who will affected by the activity that we use the water from the river. And we also try to get more and more like public voice. So it means that nowadays, if you do something from the water, will be affected to many activity. We need some time to public, not only for the local, not only for inside the country, but outside the country. And we get more and more voice from scientists, from local people, from manager, everyone. So I think it will be good one for our management of the water from the river. So this is, I think, why it's very important. If we just think about ourselves, yeah. So I mean, it may be effect to other. Like we build a dam, we think about the electricity, we think about the development of the country, but we don't think about the biodiversity, we don't think about environment, we don't think about the local people and downstream activity. Yeah. So I would like to share my opinion, and yeah. So I just take over to other people to talk. Okay. Okay, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Nam. Aik, would you like to speak to this multi-scalar focus?
Sure. Yeah, I think we're all kind of at least on the same page as far as thinking about how important it is to think about impacts at a multi-scalar level. And so I think most of us kind of recognize that there are inherent problems with impact assessments for various hydropower dam projects throughout the Mekong region, and the fact that they don't always consider the uneven, kind of broad, cumulative impacts of these dams. And so I think it's important to kind of restate also that changes to the flows and to the ecosystems of the Mekong River and its tributaries have far more serious, far more extensive and far more enduring consequences than any of these impact assessments have accounted for. Just thinking about some of my case studies, thinking about the Pak Mun, there's been numerous studies that have, shown that the decline in fisheries, in Mun River Basin, Chi Mun River Basin is due to the closure of the dams not coinciding with seasonal fish migrations from the Mekong River up into the Mun River, right? And the management of the dam, particularly decisions regarding to the opening and closing of the dam, have far-reaching impacts for fishers upstream, much into further into the basin there. And a lot of that is kind of dependent on kind of urban-rural dynamics, right? So the needs of Ubon Ratchathani, the city and its water kind of usage, as opposed to fishers and others needing it for agriculture. But if we can even look more, not thinking about kind of the social needs and fisheries, but also if we're looking at kind of the recent floods, right, in northeastern Thailand, and being brought on by more frequent and intense rainfall a few months ago, actually, that can also be attributed to the dam, which has impedes the rate of excess water drainage from the basin into the Mekong. So it's useful to kind of think about local, but also impacts at different scales here. At the local scale, I think I'm kind of keen on and looking at how local scales are constructed as well, and thinking about particularly gendered impacts, right? So we have, thinking about impacts particularly on women and marginalized groups who have different relations to water and aquatic resources than we might think. So like dam-induced changes to the Saesan River in northeastern Cambodia, for example, really affects women's personal well-being and sense of community, right? There was one story that was, well, not one story, but when I was with a woman and her family, and one evening she just, commented to me, just noting how quiet it was, right? And so this kind of sense of quiet, sense of kind of isolation is due to a huge number of out migration, right? That's kind of taken place in the village due to that, due to the dam and the loss of fisheries. So thinking about what's meaningful to people, right? And so the loss of fisheries is as much about feeding and sustaining one's family and thinking about the vitality of the community as it is about income and biodiversity, right? So there has to be more consideration, I think, for both the broad but also the intimate impacts of dams at all stages of planning if we're thinking about securing futures where we should be thinking about securing the well-being of peoples and communities, outside of also thinking about their economic well-being. So yeah, that's all.
Wow, thank you. A lot to think about there. I really like your phrase, the intimate impacts of dams. That's a really, I think, profound way to think about it. Yeah, thank you, Ake. Thank you. So for the second question for our panelists, I'm going to ask people to speak to how in your field sites do local communities feature in decision-making and governance of water resources? What is the role of local communities? How much influence do they have? And I'm actually gonna start with Hadi and Laila first. In where you live, do local people have a say in decisions about development of the river?
Okay. So for my opinion, actually, as we live most of our life just along the river, and then if the government want to develop something, so will be affected to the local people, especially. So the river is the main resources for us, yeah, and also for fishing, all the thing, yeah, and for as a daily life as well, yeah. So that's very important for this tribe people, but in also the same time, of course, if they want to develop something to benefit to the local, I think should be fine as long as it's not to pollution into the environment, yeah, can be affected into the local people, yeah. But what I can see in Brunei right now, it's nothing much affected into that's the local people, yeah. And when the government still rely, yeah, and they are still very concerned about the local people, yeah. So they have to think about that in the future. But for the local people, they have a power sometimes to make a voice to the government to make sure the local community also they have to listen the voice. The local community have to start to develop something, yeah, because that is very important. Because if you develop something, is forever, yeah. It's not for 1 year, 2 years, but there's an important thing. They have to think about the local people, especially the tribe people, the Iban people, because all the life they rely on the river, yeah. But so I think my wife, they want to say some things about the things about, yeah.
Okay. Hi again. Yeah. I just want to share what is my history about what Iban believe, how our grandparents ask all Iban to respect not only river but nature, animal. That's it. One example, the history I want to share with all of you is about history about crocodile. Why Iban people not allowed to disturb this animal? Actually, yeah, it's a long history, but I only can share short history about it. For Iban people, not only in Brunei but in Sarawak as well. Yeah, because my late mother is coming from Sarawak, so we share that history. It's a same history. Yeah, about crocodile example. All Iban people not allowed to kill or catch the crocodile. Yeah, it's the reason why is because before, yes, they do it, they kill the crocodile, but one time one of the Iban people had some dream. The crocodile is similar with the human. So it's something like warning. If you do again, something bad will be happen to your generation. Not only this generation, next generation. So that's why because I'm all entire my life, I live near river and live at the long house. All the history we share together. So everybody know that history. Yeah. Until now, we still everyone not even the government sometimes want to like example in Chamorro River now we have crocodiles, small crocodile, freshwater crocodile. Sometimes the tourists will complain because sometimes we do the river activity, so they will not feel like safe do the activity in the river. That's why they complain to the forestry or something. They want us to do something or help the government to do something, but we're not gonna involve with them, yeah, to catch or kill the crocodile. Yeah. All entire my life I will remind this history to my children, my because in my body I still have Iban blood, even I'm converted Muslim now. Yeah, I still like 50% still believe. Yeah, because it's a true story. Yeah, I hope everyone understand. Yeah, but history okay. That's thank you.
Thank you, Lila. Okay. Ming Lee, you're up. Local governance, local people. You can talk about crocodiles too, actually. Please talk about crocodiles.
That is so fascinating, the story about crocodiles. Unfortunately, I don't have any crocodile anecdotes, but from, I think, in the Mekong region, speaking as a whole, I think communities have generally struggled to play a meaningful role around decision-making and the governance of water resources in these areas. And this may not be unique to just, rivers and water resources in these countries. I think as a whole, communities do struggle against to play a meaningful role in decision-making in relation to many different sectors in the region. So I think, again, linking this back to scale, there have been quite successful examples of community-based natural resource management initiatives where communities play a key role in leading environmental initiatives to protect the river. So for example, in Cambodia, these might be characterized by ecotourism communities, maybe like what Hadi and his wife are doing, or community fisheries that may protect these resources at the local scale. But because they are now facing impacts of projects happening at the transboundary level, so a dam in Laos, for example, affecting a community in Cambodia, they can't deal with these sort of decision-making processes at the government level or even the transboundary level, which, like I said, privilege national and regional economic development over the well-being of local communities. So again, we have to think about, what are the avenues that are open to people to even get their thoughts and voices heard, and it's extremely difficult for them to do this. And here I think I will explain what's happening at a higher level to see why it's so difficult to have local communities contribute or make meaningful input into decision making. So in my research, I looked at how stakeholder consultations around Mekong dams on the mainstream of the river were organized and why they were then also criticized as a rubber stamp for hydropower development. And here I'm referring to the process of prior consultation, which is a regional process of consultation that's held under the framework of the Mekong River Commission, or the MRC. And the MRC is an intergovernmental organization that's meant to manage the Mekong River's waters between the 4 nation states in the lower Mekong Basin. So with regards to these dams proposed for the mainstream of the Mekong River, so dams like the Xayaburi Dam, the Don Sahong Dam, the Pak Beng Dam, and more to come, these consultations that involve local communities were organized in Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, even though these projects were actually proposed by the Lao government. So what was happening in Cambodia and Thailand, I found that, who organizes these consultations? Well, it's often organized by a very technical government agency that has to deal with water resources. And so they said they lacked resources to effectively include local communities in these consultations. So they said they didn't have a budget to hold as many consultations as the local communities or the civil society would have liked, or they lacked the technical capacity to translate complex technical information into local languages, or Thai and Khmer, for example. So, and I think these are completely understandable because to translate a technical document, it's not just a language issue. You actually do need, that technical expertise, someone who understands hydropower engineering to translate these documents. So it is a very difficult and challenging task. But I think as a whole, these stakeholder consultations were part of a larger technical process that was more geared towards mitigating the environmental impacts of hydropower dams. So it didn't really give local people a choice on, whether they consented to a dam being built or not. It was more like, this dam is going to be built, give us your feedback, and we'll think of ways to mitigate the impacts of this dam. And also discussions were then framed around these technical terms that didn't really resonate with local communities and their lived experiences along the river. So for example, if a community member wanted to say, hey, but what about the relationship that we have with crocodiles? It wouldn't really fit into the technical categories that they were talking about, because they want to know about hydrology, they want to know about sediment flow, they want to know about the dam engineering and that sort of thing. I think what's even more difficult in these spaces as well is that, local communities find it extremely difficult to extract any form of accountability from these stakeholder consultations, because decision makers were, again, not present at these meetings. So the government agencies who organized these consultations were relatively uninfluential in the larger scheme of things. They didn't have decision-making power over hydropower development, which was more done by ministries and agencies in the power sector, who were not always involved in these consultations. the Lao government and hydropower developers were also not present at these consultations in Thailand and Cambodia. So concerns were then, just passed on through these processes. So a participant I interviewed in Thailand, I think, criticized these processes, the government agency who organized it as, just being a postman who would like mail their concerns to the Lao government. So I think taken together, this has led to a lot of frustrations around the process, while I think they recognized that the process was beneficial in terms of delivering transparency of information relating to the dams. It didn't necessarily translate into any form of accountability around where they could seek compensation for the impacts of the dams. And that's why you're going to find, local communities starting to seek avenues outside these official processes to voice their concerns. So they might have protests, they might file complaints with various different agencies, so national human rights commissions. They've even filed complaints through OECD mechanisms. And I think, they've really had to find increasingly creative ways of voicing their concerns if the official channels didn't take into account or wasn't able to, deal with their worldviews and the ways that they related to the river that was also very important to them.
Thank you, Ming Lee. That's a really good insight into some of those factors, making things more complex. Yeah, really interesting. Ik, do you want to speak to this governance question as well? Or I know that you're particularly interested in power and gender. If you want to turn the question a bit to your own field site and research interests, Ekarat, feel free.
Yeah, I can comment a little bit. Yeah, Ming Lee did an excellent job talking about the complexities of the processes. But yeah, I would say, at least for my own kind of field sites, participation of local peoples, again, has been, very minimal, I guess you could say. It seems like, the places where people have been impacted by dams by forest sites, there's deep frustration in the lack of prior consultation, and then also with compensation during and following the completion of these projects, and the response has been kind of wide ranging, depending on kind of the socio-political context, from silent acquiescence to kind of participation in mass protest movements. And that, of course, varies across basin over time, depending on how communities are socially, politically situated. So where there has been space for civil society activity or community-based initiatives, like Ming Lee discussed, specifically in Thailand and in Cambodia to a lesser extent, some of these groups were able to get compensation in terms of housing and land for cultivation, but again, very maybe minimal or inadequate. Whereas some groups in Laos particularly are maybe much more at the mercy of the state, right? Where there's not much space for contention or response in that sense. So in all cases, though, I think compensation is inadequate and doesn't really serve to kind of restore, improve livelihoods or community cohesion, right, as promised. In the case of the Sapien Satam Noi Dam, which is in southern Laos, the one that collapsed in 2018, there were villagers who reported saying that they had no idea that the dam was even above them, on the plateau. And then, when some villagers protested to get, better rice, while they were in these camps, sometimes they were, turned away, with empty promises. And even now they're, left unsatisfied with their houses and the land for cultivation that they've been given. So again, I think this all kind of speaks to a larger, or part of a larger failure on the part of the state and the company and EIA and SIA assessment teams to consider the extensive geographies of impact, but also their failure to include local consultation and participation in these processes.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think what we'll do is we're going to go to one last question. So for those of you listening, please do put your questions into the chat or the Q&A, because in about 10 minutes time, we'll turn to your questions. But I wanted to go, we've been talking a lot about the humans, but then Layla brought up the crocodiles. And our third question we'd wanted to circulate was, where do the non-humans come up in discussions of development in the context of the rivers and the river development in your field sites and research? And Dr. Nam, can I take that one to you first? You did mention fishers earlier. I'm wondering if you'd talk more to us about fish or other things in the river that are important in your work.
Yeah, first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the local community when I'm talking about the decision maker. So every people already talking about the idea, the opinion from the local people. But I think the government, they also think the same. Yeah, they try to involve as much as possible from the local voice. But of course, when you talking with a farmer, with the local people who just work on the field only, so the way to talking and get the idea from them must be different. Not like the government do right now. Okay, what do you think about the dam in Laos? Or what do you think about the water in the river? You cannot say something about this. I want to say that you just talking about with the farmer with a different way. Like, so if you have more saline intrusion or saline water come to rice field, what do you do? Or something like you want to do the shrimp farming, but we store more and more water, fresh water for human, for yeah, something like that. It should be do like this. It's better. Yeah. But no, now I want to move to the non-human activity. So for the Mekong Delta, nowadays we think more about the climate change and sea level rise. So I think it's not come from the human activity, but it's come from the climate. So in the coastal line, more and more people now, they don't want to live along to the coastal. Why? Because of the erosion. The weight from the sea more and more stronger. And they move even in the mangrove forest. They destroy the mangrove forest already and then move up to the mainland. So what do they do in this? Yeah, so I think it's also the problem. And more high tide. So it will be add more and more saline intrusion in the mainland. And if they do the right farming, what they train to the farming system, they should think about this. And we think about another like aquatic resources. So overcutting is human, but also like nature, like habitat. Where is their habitat? I don't talk about this, but we talk about the nature habitat for fish or aquatic animal. So we need to think about this because more and more human activity and also affected by climate, it should be affect to the river and the water and the local human life. So just share something idea, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nam. Ming Lee or Egg, would you like to talk about non-humans in your sites?
Yeah, I can talk about. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting question. So So I'm currently co-authoring a paper and also writing another one, which looks at the impact of infrastructure projects on spirits and spirit mediumship throughout the Lao-speaking world in mainland Southeast Asia, but particularly in northeastern Cambodia. And, what we were able to kind of find is that, spirits inhabit different kind of riverine features of the Sesan River on islands and rapids and villages along the river. And the ethnic Lao spirit mediums, who are predominantly elderly women, collectively with the spirits and with the community members, kind of form this unique ethno-religious kind of ecological space there. But with the construction of the Lower Sesan 2 Dam and the subsequent disappearance of these islands and rapids because they've been inundated, this coherent kind of landscape has begun to kind of fracture in some ways. And one important way is that the spirits who once inhabited these islands have become displaced themselves. So you have displacements of people, but also displacements of villages. Because the ethnic Lao people who once gathered there to feed the spirits and to seek guidance from the spirit through the spirit mediums are no longer able to gather on these islands. So the displacement of spirits, also leads to this uncertainty as to, which spirit mediums, because each individual village will have their own spirit medium, is, which spirit mediums are able to kind of channel the displaced spirits, or there are, questions even about, whether these spirits are still loyal to Lao spirit mediums. There's stories that certain spirits have gone, down the Sesan to the Sekong and downstream to Phnom Penh, right? So you have the spirit kind of moving from the Lao-speaking world into the kind of the center of Cambodian state, or spirits kind of moving to be with the Chinese dam operators because they feed them pork or more specifically pig's heads, right? And so they're being fed there. So this, infrastructure and thinking about dams, it's led to a lot of uncertainty even in the spirit world, right? And this is brought about by development on the river, and has led to less connectivity, I think, rather. Less connectivity and more fracturing among the community and along the river, but also their understanding of their environments as well.
Thank you, Ek. That's really fascinating. Yeah, the thought of displacement of spirits in the riverine landscape. Really interesting. I'd love to hear more about your work as it comes along on that. Ming Lee, would you like to take on this question? And then Hadi and Laila have some things to say afterwards. But go ahead, Ming Lee, you next.
Sure. So I think, non-humans feature quite a bit in my work, but in very different ways. So I'm talking about, the way that, say, technical government agencies or hydropower developers would talk about non-humans as opposed to local communities. So when we talk about, at the national and regional level and these consultation processes that I was talking about earlier, the non-human elements of the river, such as, water, sediment, and fish, they're discussed in very technical and scientific terms. So like I said, hydrology, modeling, a lot of impenetrable numbers. So I was, rereading through the Don Sahong Dam's EIA recently, and, it's a lot of, we considered altering the water flow from 600 cubic meters per second to 1,000 cubic meters per second, but for optimal production versus, the appearance of the rapids, will leave it at the level of 800 cubic meters per second to ensure environmental flows are maintained. So this is the way that they would talk about, non-human elements such as water in this case. So I think these representations of non-human elements then are seen as, something that can be improved on. So for example, we will improve this water flow or sediment flow by digging both ends of this channel so that, fish can flow through and things like that. And often these forms of manipulation, engineering, or improvements, they're really manipulated for capital accumulation. So for example, engineering natural water courses for irrigation, agriculture, or hydropower development. Whereas I think, as Abe put it very well, local communities talk about non-humans in very different ways. There's that whole other spiritual dimension to it. But they, in terms of, say, hydrology, they also understand it in a very different way. So for example, in my last visit to Stung Treng recently, one of the people I was talking to, he was saying that, the water flow has changed since the Don Sahong Dam has been built. And he started talking about, where the routes through which water used to flow, where the water used to stand still, where they would encounter barriers and things like that. So there's very intimate knowledge about, how water moved. And if you travel along the Mekong River, this is extremely important because there are rapids in the river, and they have to know where these things are in order to navigate the river on their boats. And I think, as we see from the traditional ecological knowledge they hold, they really have intimate knowledge about things like fish migration as well. But I think, I'm not trying to draw a binary between the different ways that state or non-state actors talk about non-humans. So, for example, I think, state officials have also tried to invoke the spirits to support hydropower development in different ways. They had ceremony at the groundbreaking of the Xayaburi Dam, for example, to appease the Naga or the spirits in the river. At the local level, I think, there are some of these rituals that are held at consultations with local communities as well. Scientific and local knowledge are not necessarily separate from each other as well. I think knowledge is always changing. They always build upon each other. So they always have, contain elements of each other. But I think, as a whole, it's quite clear that the materiality of the river really has a huge impact on the way that what kind of developments are being carried out, and also how resistance against these projects then also unfold in quite specific ways. Lisa, you're muted.
Yes, I was. Thanks, Ming Lee. Thank you, Ming Lee. That's really fascinating. And a really good reminder to think about how state officials, as well as local people, might bring spirits into the discourse and the activities. Hadi is just he wants to speak briefly about ideas about spirits and rivers here in Borneo.
Okay, so I would like to say about the spirit, what the Iban people believe, the entire Iban actually, they everything believe whatever spirit in the jungle, and also the river as well, so that's important for the Iban. If they do something, whatever, for development, for whatever, or build something in the jungle, they have to be believe about that spirit in the area, and they have to do some ritual, for blessing to make sure the life of these people is safe, is nothing can be disturbed with other spirit. Same thing also if do some other development thing, they have to believe on the local people as well. So that's why they have to be the local people also participate on that, on the blessing as well, because they have more experience, they have more knowledge about all these things, nature related into this IBAN. Yeah. So I've been the same thing also. If mostly IBAN, they have their septic cultivation as well. Before they plant something, they also do something to bless into the area. So make sure they palm growing very successful. Yeah. And also if there's something bad, yeah, before they start actually, yeah, they have to bless, and then they maybe got something very warning is dream something, so they going to postpone that area. They have to move other places. Yeah, what they are believe in the spirit elected into the natures. Yeah. So the spirit about the river, the rocks, the tree, that's very important into this, the Iban people. Even some during the ritual for the Iban, they also they have to be connected into the nature as well. Yeah. Especially what my wife mentioned, there's about crocodile. Yeah, crocodile is also there's a lot of people believe that if you kill this the crocodile, so in the future this crocodile can be revenged into your family for the next generation. Yeah, so just why most the Iban, not only in Brunei, the whole Borneo believe on this, the crocodile as well. Yeah, of course, in olden days, people who live in this river, along the river, is also what they call it, relationship with this crocodile. That's why we respect so much about all these things, the reptiles. Yeah, so not just simply kill them, but you have to respect everything there. So I think so that's my sharing about the spirit, but of course, you have more time, I can talk more about it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Hadi and Laila. Yeah. And now we're going to take some questions from the audience. Thank you, guys. We're going to start with one from Armand Kamhol, and this is more of a Mekong question, so I'll let one of you three Mekong specialists answer it. He's asking if communities upstream or downstream, ones that are affected by dam projects, are they able to benefit directly in terms of electrification or prioritization of power supply? He's asking, are these communities getting some level of quote unquote development from these projects? I don't know which of you three would like to take that. So are there local benefits for these communities close to the dams in terms of power supply? And how do they feel?
Yeah, just I want to share an answer about the question. So actually the local people, when you build the dam, is directly affected local people. For example, people who living in the water reservoir of the dam, so they will move to another location for build up the water resources, the reservoir, the water reservoir. So in that case, on the infrastructure like house, electricity, infrastructure, everything will be invested by the company who own the dam, with the supporting by the local people or central government. So basically that I can say that they have a little bit benefit or better, they profit. This is a better line from the currently line when they accept to move for the dam. So, but in fact, for like directly using the electric city from dam, it's not really important. Yeah, they maybe use another electricity line, so I can say like that. But usually they don't understand about the demand or the necessary of the dam, so they just try to think about their future. if you provide them the better light, when they move, they accept. If no, maybe they try to reject, and they want to live in the currently location. So I just try to answer your question like this for the Mekong River. Yeah, not in the Delta, but in Vietnam. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Nam. Ming Lee or Ekarat, do you want to talk about local power in the local villages? And if that makes a difference in how people view these projects or not?
Yeah, I think at least in the villages where I've worked, I think the promise of electrification, was alluring for a lot of these communities and thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know if I don't remember anyone kind of expressing to me how they would use it to create enterprises or businesses or anything like that. But overall, I think the trade-off is just hasn't been worth it. Even the villages downstream of the Lower Sesan too. I think they were excited initially, but when I returned and they had electricity, just thinking about the trade-offs of losing land to build power lines and out migration and loss of fisheries, it just wasn't worth it for them.
Yeah, and I think that with these promises of electrification, sometimes we also forget that then people have to pay for electricity now, and that's an additional cost that they have to foot while the natural resource base is declining. So, this drop in income doesn't allow them to then pay for the electricity that they are supposed to benefit from. And I think, again, some of the things we have to think about then on a larger scale is that, which I think everyone mentioned, who is benefiting from the electricity then. So urban populations that generally benefit more from electrification and the development of these dams than rural communities, because that's where the power is being directed to. In the case of dams built in Laos, most of this electricity is being exported to Thailand and Vietnam. So again, the main beneficiaries may not necessarily be in Laos themselves. During the wet season, Laos exports all these energy, but during the dry season, it has to buy power from Thailand at a higher rate than it is selling power to them too. So it's not quite equitable in that case. And then when you again expand the scale of that, so for example, Singapore just started importing energy, from hydropower dams in Laos, and I'm sitting in Singapore right now, and I'm thinking, is my energy coming from a Lao hydropower dam somewhere? So again, the beneficiaries of hydropower development and the electrification may not always be located in the areas where the dams are being built.
Okay, yeah, thank you guys for that. Let's switch gears. We have a lot of interesting questions and we have 12 minutes, so I'm going to move to another one. And this is from Amanda Fleim, and it's in the Q&A if you panelists want to read the whole thing, because she thanks you for your panel. She's wondering how the overlapping belief systems, like she mentioned how you guys talked about the spirit mediums and the Nagas of the Mekong. She's wondering, how do the overlapping belief systems perhaps contribute to what seem like maybe oppositional politics, which maybe is a reference. Ming Lee, you mentioned the officials are also making offerings. So she writes, is development as a colonizing paradigm accommodating and subordinating all these different belief systems? And when and how might groups with different stakes, capital, and power contest these different kinds of knowledge? I wonder if you'd like to speak to that, Ek or Ming Lee.
I think just very briefly, I'm not an expert on spirits, but the politics of knowledge is definitely something that's very, that something very interesting to me. And definitely, like, knowledge is fluid. These belief systems are also fluid. They can be co-opted by different people for different purposes. And so, yeah, the state might co-opt some of these belief systems to serve their interests, or I don't know, you can also think of it as a wider belief system, right? That, the whole country believes in as well. But yeah, I think when and how groups with different stakes, capital, and power knowledge, contest this knowledge is a very interesting question. It's also a very complex question, and it's very interesting to, I think, go down to the ground and figure out, what different people are doing in different places. So for me, in my research, I think the Taiban research or village-led research is an interesting way of looking at how they try to use local knowledge to contest large-scale development projects in their area, to show that they do have knowledge and they do have a claim over the very important elements of the river where they've lived for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah, Amanda, thanks for the question. It's a really good question. And think about, initially my kind of initial thought was, how do we decolonize, our ideas of scale, right? And so one way that I've been trying to do, I guess, in maybe kind of reframing or recasting this particular region as an ethno-ecological landscape is a way to kind of decolonize the ways we decolonize in scale, right? And thinking beyond and outside boxes of local, national, and regional. So that's one way, and so we can, doing that, I think we can empower people to kind of see. I don't want to say local people because I know the next question is local people. So, so local people kind of having more agency to kind of frame the spaces that they're actually kind of, that they make meaning in, right? And so if we can empower them to kind of think about what spaces are important to them, then, and kind of draw in people with similar ideas, similar goals across borders. I think that's one way to kind of maybe decolonize knowledge, I guess. Yeah. That helps a little bit.
Sorry, I'm having trouble with my unmute button. Okay, thank you, Aik, for that. Yes, we've got 7 minutes. So, and a related question, Aik, that I want to throw back at you before we go to the local people term is, someone asks, do they listen to the spirit mediums and the voices that are channeled about things about the river?
Do they listen? I don't know. Maybe Ming Lee might also know. I don't know the case of the Sayaburi Dam as well, but yeah, I mean, it seems that at least the dam operators, the Chinese dam operators, seem to have a relationship, right, or a possibly potential relationship, because they're, and I don't know if this is true, but they may be feeding the spirits at the dam, right? So I don't know if that's helped them to legitimize the dam and their presence there or not. But as far as state officials, I honestly can't respond to that, but maybe Ming Lee some ideas.
I don't know either, actually. This was something I read about. So I know that when they were constructing the Sayaburi Dam, there was a ceremony conducted to appease the spirits. I don't know what spirit medium they used, if it was approved by local villagers. I don't know how that happened. And I think when I talked about these consultations in Laos, I was again drawing from Surinder Singh's work, I think with the Nam Tan 2 Dam, and she actually came up with this term, I think, called ritual governance, where government officials who were trying to consult with local communities were also, again, using these ritual aspects involving spirits to kind of, I guess, legitimize what they were doing. But again, the details of that, I don't have that much insight to.
Yeah, thank you. It's a really fascinating topic for me as well. Something I'm very interested in my own work. I think we've got time for at least one more question from the panel. And actually, I do want to, let's address this terminology question that Amanda brought up for us. She mentioned, I don't know if you guys saw the question, that in our discourse, we often refer to communities as local people. And she wants to know if you guys could elaborate on using that term local people, particularly, she says, in light of the fact that your work shows how these communities are actually quite involved in transnational movements and discussions. So she's asking, does the term local people have a certain power to it? Is there a reason you've chosen that term? If you guys could speak to that.
Yeah, I think, it's very true that the local is very much constituted by extra local entities as well, right? So, yeah, I mean, this is a really kind of interesting question. I mean, I always get pause every time I think before I use it, but I always end up using it. But yeah, I mean, as far as in my cases, beyond like the villagers in the Pak Moon, the local is very much local in the case of the villages that I work in Laos and to some extent in Cambodia as well, right? So again, local probably be, we still have to consider kind of the extra local forces that are operating and constituting the local in particular places that will look different in different places. But I honestly don't know I'm just trying to think of alternatives now and how to think about that. But yeah, those are just some thoughts. Yeah, I don't know, Jan, or Nam, or Ming Lee, or others have ideas.
I think the local people depend on the people who talking about. So for myself, the local people is the people who living in the Mekong Delta, and in fact they are involved in about the project, about the affected by the dam or water governance in the Mekong Delta. This is in terms of my speaking. So for the dam construction, for example, maybe we can talk about the local people is the people who living surrounding the dam, upstream or downstream the dam, for example, or the people who affected by the control of the water by the dam, the hydropower dam, for example. So this is my thinking about. So in fact, this is the local people. That means the people who living and affected by the project. I can say something like this. Yeah, but the term of local people can be different with other speaking. So yeah, we can think more the term of the local people, because now we think about the transboundary approach. So local people maybe is people who living in other country. So it means that we can use another definition, or the term of local people can change to another term. Yeah, that's my thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Sorry, just really briefly. I think with locals and communities, these terms, of course, can be defined very differently. But I think in my work, definitely in writing, at least, I do try to acknowledge that, the term community doesn't mean that community is homogeneous. The term local, when I'm using it, I'm using it in the sense that, local is not a spatially bound area. I'm thinking also about the local as being constituted by its connections with places elsewhere and people elsewhere as well. So I think adopting that kind of relational perspective towards understanding the local and making sure that comes through in my writing is how I try to deal with it. But in practice, I think, the term local community does hold certain power in the sense that, when you're trying to protect a certain place, again, this construction of what the local means and how do you accrue power to that definition of the local then becomes very important. So I think understanding the constructedness of the local and understanding the processes through which it is being constructed is how I go about it.
Thank you. That's really thoughtful. We are out of time and need to wrap up, but we're going to close with one last question about the non-human that Lila is going to answer. There was a question from the audience about animals and having souls or spirits for the Iban people in their context. And the question was, do all animals have souls or spirits, or is it just some animals? And Lila said she's happy to briefly address that.
Okay. For the first time, after that, Hadi will continue. Yeah. Not all animals have a soul spirit, but some, yes, like some birds, some. It's depend. It's depend what history we hear from our all the like. Our grandfather, grandmother before, but with that experience, I have a less experience. But I think Hadi is more knowledge about this one. Yeah, I pass to Hadi.
Okay, so continue about the spirits about the bird, the animal. Iban. So there's some there Iban beliefs about the hornbill. There's also so that's where Iban believe about the hornbill. Yeah, they protect the birds because they believe to bring a good omen for the tribe people as well, but also sometimes it's bring a bad omen as well. Yeah, so during their festival, Iban, they also believe on the spirit of this animal. Yeah, sometimes that takes the hornbill, the bill, the bill. One is for the spiritual purpose, for the healing someone, for the local people, So this is why the Iban still trust and believe all these things, So for us, most of our life live in the jungle. Of course, respected into whatever, not only the hornbill, whatever animal live in the jungle, we are respected. In the same also, the animal who live in the river, we also respect them as well. Yeah, so that's very important for us because without this, the animal also is the life of these tribe people also very. They have to need, important for the tribe people as well. So that's very interesting as well. During the festival, everything is related into nature. It's also combined with the animal, the faunas, what they call everything. I cannot say so much because it's maybe it's so long for me to talk about the one. So maybe that's the important thing is only the hornbill. Is that's we have to respect very much on the one. Okay, so I think that's about my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Hadi. I think that is a wonderful place to wrap up our webinar. Thank you, Hadi, for your
You're
comment
welcome.
about the people and the animals in the river and the jungle need each other and use each other for life.
Yeah, for the
Mhm.
nature. Yeah.
Thank you, all of you, for your being willing to speak this morning. And thank you, panelists. I appreciate your contributions. We've gone quite far in our range of things we've managed to do in this hour and a half. I know that lots of people listening, that the panel is officially over and you need to go on to other things. Thank you very much. We hope you can join us. We have one more panel coming up in December, and I've forgotten the date. Oops, maybe Courtney can remind me. And our focus in that last panel, still discussing development, but we'll be looking in the context of forest and fields, which of course are very related to rivers as well. But thank you all very, very much. And next panel is on December 14th. Thank you. So we hope you can join us for that as well. And if you don't have to run away, there's some interesting answers to some of the questions and comments from other people in the webinar chat if you guys want to have a read over of it before you go. So thank you. And we are officially ending.